training camp is officially upon us, but a massive disaster is looming over this defense that nobody seems to be talking about enough. If Kyler Gordon cannot stay healthy, this secondary is walking right onto a tightrope without a safety net. How can a franchise with legitimate championship ambitions leave such a critical position hanging by a thread? Make sure to hit that like button, share this video with every fan you know, and subscribe to the channel right now for daily coverage all season long. Look, we have to talk about this nickel cornerback situation because it is turning into an absolute pressure cooker. We all want Kyler Gordon to be that dominant, game-changing slot defender, but availability is everything in this league. Last season, the guy missed 14 out of 19 games when you count the postseason run. 14 games. You simply cannot build a top-tier defense when your primary nickel corner is sitting on the sideline for more than half the year. Now, as practices start ramping up and the pads come on, the coaching staff and front office are going to have to address this head-on. But if Gordon is not ready to go, who actually steps up and takes those snaps? Is it Malik Muhammad, the rookie out of Texas? He showed some intriguing flashes during rookie minicamp and he certainly has the athletic profile, but he missed time with an injury during spring workouts himself. Plus, when you watch his college tape, he looks and plays much more like a classic, long-limbed outside corner rather than a twitchy, short-area nickel operator. What about Josh Blackwell? The coaching staff seems to view him almost exclusively as a core special teams contributor. Jalen Jones. Terrell Smith. Smith has barely played inside in his career, so asking him to suddenly master the nickel position in the middle of training camp is a huge ask. Then you have Cam Lewis, who was brought in as a versatile backup safety and slot hybrid, but he has been a career depth piece for a reason. If he is your starting option, you are taking a massive risk. This makes you wonder why the front office has not been more aggressive on the open market. Why not pick up the phone and sign a proven veteran like Kenny Moore too? If you do not have absolute confidence that Kyler Gordon can stay on the field for 17 games, going out and acquiring an established starter feels like a no-brainer. Sure, it creates a luxury logjam once Gordon eventually gets healthy, but having too many talented defensive backs is a problem every coordinator in football wants to have. And for anyone on social media screaming to just cut ties with Kyler Gordon right now, take a deep breath and look at the financial reality. His current cap hit sits at nearly $13 million, but if you cut him today, that number skyrockets to over $22 million in dead money. You would literally be burning almost $10 million in cap space just to send him packing. He is on this roster this year minimum, so get the idea of cutting him out of your head. Even next offseason, cutting him before June 1st actually increases his cap hit from $13.3 million to $15 million. Even a post-June 1st cut only saves a paltry $800,000. Remember, that 3-year contract extension he signed is actually just kicking in now because last season was the final year of his old deal. The contract structure means you are practically married to him until after next season. All we can do is cross our fingers, hope he gets healthy, and plays up to his potential. Switching gears over to the offense, there has been a really wild idea floating around fan circles regarding veteran quarterback Case Keenum. People are asking if it is somehow illegal to cut Keenum as a player, hire him immediately as the quarterback's coach to free up an active roster spot, and then if an injury strikes, fire him as a coach and sign him back as a player. While that kind of roster gymnastics is technically creative, it is completely unnecessary. The entire beauty of having Case Keenum in the building is that he already functions as an extra coach on the player payroll. He signed a 2-year deal worth roughly $4 million, which is far more than standard quarterback coaches make anyway. He gets paid like a player, plays in the preseason to stay warm, but his real value is serving as a veteran sounding board in the meeting room for Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent. He bridges the gap between the young callers and the coaching staff. Down the line, whenever someone like J.T. Barrett moves on to an offensive coordinator job, maybe Keenum transitions into a full-time coaching role. But for now, he is in the absolute ideal spot. Question of the day: drop a comment right now and tell me, what is the bigger threat to our season right now, the edge rusher depth or the nickel cornerback situation? I want to see everyone sound off in the comments below. Speaking of statistical expectations for this upcoming campaign, the projections around the league are absolutely wild. Look at elite receivers across the league like Justin Jefferson coming off seasons where they still push past 1,100 yards despite unstable quarterback play. Or look at dynamic passers like Justin Herbert projected to easily cross 3,600 passing yards in offensive systems that lean into their arm talent. For our own offense, the threshold for Caleb Williams to smash through 4,000 passing yards feels completely achievable given the weapons in this building. When you break down who is actually going to lead this team in major statistical categories, the debates get heated. Who leads in receiving yards and touchdowns? In the red zone, rookie tight end Colston Loveland could easily dominate touchdown catches with his massive frame and postseason track record. For receiving yards, it is a complete battle between Rome Odunze, Luther Burden III, and Loveland, but Odunze has every tool to lead the group. Out of the backfield, DeAndre Swift should command the bulk of the rushing yardage, while someone like Kyle Manengai could turn into an absolute goal-line vulture for rushing touchdowns. On defense, keep an eye on Kobe Bryant or Tariq Stevenson for the interception crown. Stevenson is a ball hawk when he is on the field, and if he plays a full slate of games, 4 or 5 picks is well within reach. That brings us back to the secondary as a whole. Does defensive back become a desperate draft need next offseason? It very well could. Jalen Johnson needs to prove he can stay dominant and healthy, while Tariq Stevenson is entering a contract year. Safeties like Kobe Bryant and Dylan Thiemann give us long-term stability on the back end, but the cornerback group could undergo a massive transformation if the current depth pieces do not show up. Finally, we have to talk about the pass rush, because fans are furious about the perceived lack of investment at defensive end. But let us be fair, the front office has not completely ignored the edge. They traded a second-round pick for Montez Sweat, and despite a quiet patch, his production in the second half of the year proved his value. They also handed Dayo Odeyingbo a $48 million contract, even if that signing has not yielded big dividends yet. They drafted Austin Booker, and while critics ask why they did not grab a pass rusher like Kendrick Falk earlier in the draft, you cannot force picks when an elite prospect like Dylan Thiemann is sitting on the board. Where the frustration is completely justified is in free agency. Passing on veteran edge mercenaries like Jadeveon Clowney or Von Miller is mind-boggling. It feels like the organization got burned by the Yannick Ngakoue experiment a couple years ago and pulled back entirely. Meanwhile, interior investments like Grady Jarrett have struggled to produce, and Jervin Dexter Sr. is still trying to take that leap. As training camp wraps up and teams trim down to 53 players, keep your eyes open for late August trades. Just like the deal for Darrell Taylor a couple years ago, or acquiring Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, front offices always look to swap late-round picks for veteran pass rushers who get squeezed out by numbers. Football is officially back, the pads are clacking, and the drama is only getting started. Sound off below, hit that subscribe button, and let us ride into this season together.